recording, but we're trying our best to pick up from where we left off. Alright, so bank interest by definition is what the bank would have paid the account holder for maintaining their account with them, right? Or better yet, for banking with them. So it's the interest that take, for example, like NCB, at BNS, or JMB, etc., would have paid to their account holder at the end of the year or at the end of the given period, right? For banking with them. So of course, bank interest is going to what? Increase the amount of money that they have in the account. So if pretty much you started with your bank $1 million in the account, you don't do anything, you haven't done any withdrawal, you have banked $1 million. At the end of the year, when you check your account balance, you may realize that you have $1,005,000. Right? That $5,000 representing the interest that the bank could have possibly paid you because they haven't made another lodgement. Alright. And that will also be debited, right? Because it's going to increase the amount of money that you have in the bank. On the flip side of that, we have what is known as bank charges, standing order, direct debit, dishonor check. These are going to reduce the amount of money that you have in the bank. So take, for example, bank charges. Sometimes referred to as what we call service charges. Right? Sometimes refers to as what we call service charges. Right? So this is pretty much what the bank charge the account holder for any service that they would have rendered to them. So if you ask the bank to pay someone on your behalf, possibly there's going to be a fee. If you ask the bank to do transaction, as you were well aware, there's going to be a fee. So all of those would be summed in what we call bank charges. Anything that the bank would have done on your behalf, pretty much it is not free. There's a charge for it, and that is pretty much does that. Alright? Or we call it our service charges. Next of which we have what is known as standing order. This too is going to reduce your account. Right? Reduce the amount of money that you have in your account. Now standing order by definition, again you have it in the email, but standing order by definition is when the account holder instruct their bank to pay out a specific amount of money on a specific date over a specific period to a specific individual. Alright? So standing order is when the account holder instruct their bank to pay out a certain amount of money on a given date to a given individual. Right? Over a given period. So that period could have been, take for example, 60 months. 60 months interpret, or otherwise known as what? 5 years. Alright? So examples of standing order could have been, take for example, mortgage. So you have a mortgage paying to NHT. You could simple, and that mortgage should be paid, take for example, on the 28th of each month. You can simply just set up a standing order with your bank because you can't bother to physically draw that cash or to write a check every month to NHT. So you just pretty much ask the bank to do that on your behalf. So that is pretty much known as a standing order. What the bank would do, the bank will send that money on that date that it was instructed. So take for example, you say pay NHT on the 25th of each month for me, $30,000 for the next 60 months. Right? They would follow that instruction, and that is what we call our standing order. Right? And of course it's going to what? Reduce the amount of money that you have in your account because the bank is taking that money from your account to pay a third party, to pay a third entity. Next we have what is known as what? Direct debit. Now direct debit is pretty much similar to standing order, but it is also different. Right? Simple put, direct debit is when the account holder instruct their bank to make a one-off payment on their behalf. Right? So direct debit is pretty much when the account holder instruct their bank to make a one-off payment on their behalf. Right? Unlike the standing order where you instruct the bank to make what? Several payments on your behalf, you're instructing the bank to make a one-off payment on your behalf. So take for example, you could say to the bank that okay, on the 15th of April, pay H. Harris Summit $25,000, and that's it. So the bank will just make out that one-off payment. Unlike standing order where the bank will be making out several payments over a period of time. Next we have what is known as what? Dishonor check. Right? Now dishonor check pretty much by definitions are check that the bank refused to change. Right? Or better yet, check that the bank refused to encash. Right? Dishonor checks are check that the bank refused to encash. the bank refused to honor. Now there are several reasons why the bank may refuse to honor a check. Right? There are several reasons why the bank may refuse to honor a check. One of them could have been NSF, meaning not sufficient fund, meaning that the account holder don't have sufficient fund in their account. Right? So that would be 1. 2, words and figure may disagree. Right? So on the check is saying in words $100,000, but the figure on the check is saying $10,000. Whenever this happens, the bank will not honor the check because they're not sure what to pay. Should they pay $100,000 or should they pay $10,000? So if that is a circumstance there, that check would be what? Dishonored. Alright? So not sufficient funds, words and figure disagree. Third of which could have been irregularity. Irregularity in signature. Right? So therefore, once you have a checking account, or what we call a current account, right, you're expected to sign on that check. Now, if the signature on the check does not match the signature that the bank has for you, the bank will not honor that check. Alright? So irregularity in signature. That's another reason why the bank may not honor the check. Fourth of which could have been the check has been stale dated. Right? So the check could have been stale dated. The check could have been stale dated. Now a check pretty much have a lifespan of what we call 6 months. A check have a lifespan of 6 months. It therefore means that the check is valid 6 months from the date that the check has been written. In other words, 6 months from the date that is on the check. Right? So a check has a lifespan of 6 months. So the check is valid 6 months from the date that is on the check. Right? So it therefore means that, take for example, if a check is written on, say, today's date being the 25th of March. It therefore means that the recipient of the check, if the check was written on the 25th of March, so the date on the check is the 25th of March. It therefore means that they have the 25th of April, which is 1 month, May, June, July, August, September. So that check would have been valid up to the 25th of September. After which, any date after that, the 25th of September, the check would have been considered to be what? Stale dated. Right? Because the check have a lifespan of 6 months. So any date after the 25th of September and that check has not been changed, then that check would have been what? Stale dated, and the bank will not honor that check, thus making it what? Dishonored. Right? Thus making it a dishonored check. Right? Another one you could have had is what we call insufficient signature. Insufficient signature. Now what do we mean by this? Insufficient signature, therefore looking at the fact that, take for example, the check needs 2 signatures, but only 1 person has signed the check. The bank will not honor it because 2 persons are required to sign on their account. So if only 1 person have signed on their account and that check is sent to the bank will not honor it. So that would make the check being dishonored. So there are several reasons why a check may have been dishonored. Alright, and these are some of the reasons here. Alright. Also, and next one could have been post-dated. Alright, post-dated check. Now, unlike stale-dated check, right, post-dated check is making reference to when the check is written for a date in the future. So take for example, we're now in the month of March, right? If I should so write a check for the 20th of April 2020, it therefore means that whoever I write that check to, even if I give them that check today, they would not be able to change that check until the 20th of April or after that date. Right? And that is classified as post-dated check. Alright? That is classified as post-dated check. So we've pretty much discussed those entries that would have been recorded in your updated cash book to update your cash book. What I want you to be mindful of, notice there, we did cash book already, right? Notice there that the opening balance in our updated cash book, in this example, right, or in this exhibit or this extra, with the opening balance in your updated cash book, we're saying that it is on the what? It's on the debit side, right? Now, this being on the debit side, it simply means that this is your money. This is the money that you have in the bank. It's a positive balance. The question that you may ask yourself, is it that the opening balance in your updated cash book should always appear on the debit side? No, the answer to that would be what? No. It can also appear on the what? Credit side. It could have also appear on the credit side. Now, when it appears on the credit side, as explained when we did cash book, if the opening balance is on the credit side, it simply means that's a what? Bank overdraft, which we already understand or should already understand what bank overdraft means. If it appears on the credit side, it therefore means that it's a bank overdraft. In other words, you would have spent more money than what you have in the bank. So thus making your opening balance on the credit side. Alright? Now as it relates to the updated cash book, what you'll pretty much do, you're pretty much out of the debit side versus the credit side and balance off the account. And then you'll have your balance CD. Again, once you have a balance CD, you must have a what? Balance BD. Right? You must have a balance BD, which is recorded on the opposite side. And this would have given you your updated cash book balance, which your bank statement balance must agree with this figure. Alright, now we can move into looking at Exhibit E, speaking about entries recorded in your cash book, but not necessarily in your bank statement. Now those entries that can possibly be recorded in your cash book, but they are not in your bank statements, can be categorized either as late lodgement or your unpresented check. It can be categorized as our late lodgement or our unpresented check. Now let us take late lodgement. Late lodgement by definition is looking at check that the account holder would have received or money that the account holder would have received, right? Check that the account holder would have received. But they send those, they would have do one of two things. Either they send those checks to the bank after the cutoff date, meaning that the bank would have already prepared a statement. So it is not included in your bank statement balance. So it was sent after the bank prepared a statement. Right? Or those checks have not been sent to the bank as yet. So they are referred to as what? Late lodgement. So, right? So how would late lodgement affect your bank statement? Right? Take for example, James. James came and paid to you $100,000 by check. Now prior to James paying you $100,000 by check, right? Your bank statement was saying that you have $300,000. And your cash book is saying that you have $300,000. Now James come and pay you a check for $100,000. Walk into your office and give you a check for $100,000. Now of course what you're going to do, you're going to what? Update your cash book. Right? So that entry would have been recorded in your cash book. So that entry would have been added to your cash book. Thus suggesting at the end of the day that you have now what? $400,000 in your cash book. But if you have not sent this $100,000 to the bank, right? If this $100,000 is not sent to the bank statement is still going to say that you have what? $300,000. Right? The bank statement will still say that you have $300,000. So whereby your cash book is saying that you have $400,000, your bank statement will still say that you have what? $300,000 there until they would have received that $100,000. Right? So if this transaction possibly took place on say the 30th of the month. If this transaction possibly took place on the 30th of the month, right? Your cash book will show at the 30th of the month that you have what? $400,000. If you have not made this lodgement until the 1st of the next month, or the 2nd or 3rd of the next month, it therefore means that your bank statement at the end of the previous month will say that you have what? $300,000, whereby your cash book is saying that you have what? $400,000. Until this lodgement is made at the bank, that is when the bank will be able to what? Update their bank statement balance with that $100,000. So that the cash book and the bank statement balance will again be equal. Right? So these are reasons why you may find a difference or or a different balance in your cash book versus your bank statement. Compile with all of these things that we would have looked at earlier. So again, late lodgement make reference to lodgements that the account holder would have been made or deposit that the account holder would have made after the bank would have prepared their statement. So it is not reflected, it is not inclusive in the bank statement balance. It is not included. Alright? Next up, which we have what is known as what? Unpresented checks. Now, unpresented checks make reference to payments that the account holder would have made. So these payments would have been on which side of the cash book? The payment side of the cash book. Now, which side is known as the payment side of the cash book? The credit side. So these entries or these transactions would have been recorded on the credit side of the cash book, right? And they're called what? Unpresented check. Why are they unpresented? Now, if you remember, we said earlier that a check has a lifespan of what? 6 months. So it therefore means that when you write out a check, if you write out a check to Harry Douglas, if you write out a check to Harry Douglas have 6 months to change that check. But what is going to happen here? When you write out a check to Harry Douglas, your cash book will be automatically be updated because you're going to balance off your cash book at the end of the month. Now, if Harry Douglas don't take that check to the bank for the next 2 months, it therefore means that the bank would not be aware that you would have paid out Harry Douglas, take for example $50,000 to reduce your account in the bank by $50,000. So your cash book may be saying that, okay, you have $350,000 on a given date, but your bank statement is still saying that you have what? $400,000, because the check that you would have written out to Harry Douglas for $50,000, Harry Douglas did not take it to the bank to encash it. They did not take it to the bank to exchange it for the cash value. Right? So these are known as what? Unpresented checks, right? And unpresented checks would have been found, is going to be found, you'd find your unpresented check on the credit side of your cash book, whereby your late lodgement would have been found on the debit side of your cash book. Your late lodgement again is those transactions on the debit side of your cash book that is not reflected on your bank statement, whereby your unpresented checks are those transactions or entries on the credit side of your cash book that are not reflected in your bank statement. Alright? That are not reflected in your bank statement. Now what I'm going to pretty much do for you now is pretty much draw the extract of what we call our bank statement. So we're going to pretty much draw the extract of the bank statement. Bank reconciliation statement for December 31st, 2002. So this is pretty much an extract, right? An extract of your bank statement. So we say bank reconciliation statement for December 31st, 2002. Now first of which we oftentimes start what we call our bank statement balance. Right? We're going to start with what we call our bank statement balance. Now who's doing the recon? You're the one that is doing the recon. So right, because you're checking to see why is it that my cash book is saying that I have X and my bank is saying that I have Y. Right? My cash book is saying that I have X amount of money, my bank statement is saying that I have X minus. So we start with your bank statement balance, right? So this is whatever your bank statement balance is, we have been inserted there. Next off which, what are we going to do? We're going to add our what? Late lodgements. Now again, we defined late lodgement earlier, right? We have defined the late lodgement earlier. Right? Now remember that late lodgements are those checks that you, the account holder, would have what? Lodged at the bank, but they are not reflected on the statement date. So of course when these late lodgement is going to what? Increase your bank balance. Right? So whatever your late lodgement was, it was going to what? Increase your bank balance, right? Now, and then we do what? We less We're going to less or what? Unpresented check. Now what is unpresented check again? We've got a less or unpresented check. Now remember what unpresented checks are. Unpresented checks are those checks that you would have paid out to individual but they're not at the bank as yet. So therefore your bank balance is going to say that you have additional money in it. But the reason for that is because these persons have not what? Encashed their check as yet. So of course unpresented check is going to be what? Unpresented check will be what? Subtracted from your bank balance, because when these checks are encashed, it's going to what? Reduce your bank balance. So unpresented check will be taken away, right? It's going to be subtracted. Now when this is done, you'll get your what? Balance as per updated. You'd get your balance as per updated cash book. Right? So this is the amount that should equal to the amount that you would have got when you did your updated cash book. This figure right there. Alright? This is the amount that should be equal to the amount that you get with your updated cash book. That is why we have thus balance as per updated cash book, because it must come back to the balance that is equal. You must come back to the balance that is in your updated cash book. That is the closing balance of your updated cash book. Now once it comes back, it simply means that you would have account for the difference. If it don't, it simply means that there are errors or there are possible discrepancies that you need to find out what had went wrong. And what would be prudent is that if you can't, if it is not coming back, right, after it has been reviewed by a professional, if it's still not coming back, that is when you need to contact the bank and let them know that your cash book balance is not coming back with your bank statement balance, and that difference needs to be explained. Because sometimes it could have been errors on the part of the bank, right? We're humans, right? Could have been errors also on the part of the bank. Now what we have over here, right? We're going to now turn our attention to this side of the board. What we have on this side of the board is a question, right? What we have on this side of the board is a question. So notice here, cash book for what? Gordon Williamson, and also this is the bank statement for Gordon Williamson. Alright, just trying to show that this matched up. Now this question is sent to your email, so this question is in your email. So what we'll be doing, I'm just trying to work this question. So you'll be seeing us walking through the process. Alright, so all you need to do is just need to go back and look at that and look at the questions that are sent to your email. I'll be doing one of those questions, and of course you're going to try the others, right? Alright. So therefore we have our cash book for what? Gordon Williamson, and this is our bank statement for Gordon Williamson. Now if you notice our cash book for Gordon Williamson, the closing balance of our cash book, mind you, the date that we're working with, this is June, right? So this is for the month of June. The closing balance of your cash book is saying what? 3,200. So your cash book is saying that you have what? 3,200 in the bank. Right? Your cash book is saying that you have 3,200 in the bank. Now let us analyze our bank statement. Right? The opening balance, pardon me. The opening balance in your bank statement is what? $10,000. Right? So at June 1st, the opening balance is what? $10,000. Likewise in your cash book, June 1st, the balance is what? $10,000. So at the start of the period, June 1st, your cash book is saying that you have 10,000, the bank is saying that you have 10,000. So both of them agree. But transaction would have transpired throughout the course of the month. Your closing balance in the cash book, your cash book is saying that you have a closing balance of what? $3,200. So they're saying that you have in the bank, or you should have in the bank, $3,200. Whereby the bank is saying, let us look at the closing balance for your bank statement. Right? As at June 30th, the bank is saying that you have what? 9,250. So can you see the discrepancy there? Your cash book is saying that you should have 3,200, but the bank is saying that you have what? 9,250. Now, of course, as we have explained earlier, there are several things that can cause you to have a difference. Alright, a different balance as it relates to your cash book versus your bank statement. Right? We spoke about them. Right? The bank interest, your credit transfer, your bank charges, your direct debit, your standing order, your dishonor check, all of those things. Right? Your late lodgements, your unpresented checks, right? So all of those things, right, is going to have an impact on either your cash book or your bank statement balance. So again, 3,200 right there, 9,250. Now again, we started out the lesson, we said that to do a bank reconciliation, we're going to what? Carefully analyze our what? Cash book versus our bank statement. We'll be carefully analyzing your cash book versus your bank statement. Alright? So we're carefully analyzing our cash book versus our bank statement. Now to do so, we'll be comparing the debit side of your cash book with the credit side of your bank statement. We'll be comparing the what? Debit side of your cash book with the credit side of your bank statement. Alright? Because remember that for every debit you have to have a corresponding credit. So when you debit to increase your account, the bank is going to what? Credit to increase the amount of money that they owe you. Right? So the bank credit your account to increase your account. Whereby you debit to increase your account. Right? Because for every debit is a corresponding credit. Alright. So we're looking at the debit side of our bank statement, of our cash book, with the credit side of our bank statement. Now first off, which we have the opening balance. So that cancels out. At the start they all agree. Now what are we looking for here? On the 12, on the debit side of our cash book, we're seeing what? 2,500. Right? Is it in the bank statement? 2,500 here, 2,500 here. Yes. So it is found in your cash book, likewise it is found on your what? Bank statement. So that could not be the reason why there's a difference between your cash book and your bank statement balance here. Right? So it is found in your cash book, likewise it is found in your bank statement. So what do? We cancel it out. Right? Let us move on to the next one. We have what? B weighing $750. Alright? Is that $750 found in your bank statement? Yes. So it's on the debit side of your cash book, likewise it's on the credit side of your bank statement. So that uses to cancel out that one also. Alright. What about C Scott 750? Is it found on your, well, this is not a 750. Is it found on your on the credit side of your bank statement? No, because it's only what? One of the 750 was found. Right? So therefore, this is recorded on your cash book, but it is not in your bank statement. So we put an asterisk right here. So we're saying this asterisk means to us that it is not found. Alright? Let us look at M Shaw. M Shaw what? 1,100. Is it found on the credit side of your bank statement? No. So you put an asterisk also there. Alright? Let us look at this now. We have what? H Wood what? 650. Is it found on the credit side of your cash book? The answer is also what? No. So we have these three transactions right here. They are recorded in our cash book, but they are not reflected on your what? They are not reflected in your bank statement. So what do we know these transactions to be? These make reference to our what? LL, which is our what? Late lodgement. Right? So these are checks that we would have received from these individuals, but they are not recorded in the bank statement as yet. So they are not reflected in the bank statement. So they are known as our what? Late lodgement, as we have earlier discussed. Alright. If we now look at looking at our bank statement, you realize that there's a transaction on the credit side of your bank statement that was not recorded on the what? Debit side of your cash book. Are you seeing this? So this is a transaction here for $2,000 on the credit side of your cash book, but it is not found on the what? Debit side of your bank statement. So therefore, there's something on your cash book that is not on your bank statement. So you need to put an asterisk right there. Alright? And this would have been your what? Credit transfer. Alright? Credit transfer. Now we know what credit transfer is when an individual or when the bank collects money on your behalf. So the bank will have known about it first. So you're going to need to use this $2,000 to update your cash book, to increase the balance that you have in your cash book. Alright? Cool. Now what we'll be doing now, we'll be comparing the credit side of our cash book. We'll be comparing now the what? The credit side of our cash book with what? We'll be comparing the credit side of our cash book with the debit side of our bank statement. We'll be comparing the what? Credit side of our cash book with the debit side of our bank statement. Now let us go. Now first, on June 6th, Gore Limited, $4,000. Right? Is it found on your bank statement? No. Next, NWC, $2,000. Is it found on your bank statement? No. Next, G. Adams, $500. Right? Is that $500 found on the debit side of your bank statement? Yes. Next we have what? C. Carpenter, $1,250. Is that $1,250 found on the debit side of your bank statement? Yes. Next, ATL, $1,000 in the credit side of your cash book. Is it found on your bank statement? Yes. Next, BH Paint, $1,750. Is it on your bank statement? Yes. Alright. Next, IGL Gas, $2,050. Is it found on your bank statement? No. So we need to put an asterisk right here, right? Because the asterisk there represents that which is not found on your what? Bank statement. Alright? This being your closing balance, so you're not you won't find it over there. So there's no asterisk that word. You're not gonna asterisk this. This is your closing balance. Your cash book closing balance. Now what do we have here? So this was found, this was found, this was found, this was also found. But if you notice right here, this $1,000 there was not recorded on the credit side of our cash book. So we have something on our bank statement now, right? There goes an entry on our bank statement that is not recorded on the credit side of our cash book. So we're going to what? Put an asterisk there. Also, this $500 right here. Alright, there's another $500. When you look at the credit side of our cash book, only what? Only one $500